So, Jivraj, are you going to take these questions, the 16th and 17th question?
17th I can take, and
Okay,
16th also I can take.
all right.
Hmm,
Otherwise, even I can take 16th question. So I actually did it using a combination of bash commands and Python. So that's one way to solve it. So if you agree, I can take this question.
okay, okay, you can take it.
All right. Let's wait for a couple of more minutes for everyone to join.
So, Saranj, I've started the recording, so you can start it anytime you're ready.
All right, all right. Jivraj, uh, can you please take this 17th question? Actually, I'm struggling with something on my laptop.
Sure,
So,
sure.
in the meantime, I will just figure it out. You can just take the 17th question. Then I will continue with the 16th and then the 18th one. Then I will go with the flask one. All right.
So the way I have solved this question is I have just downloaded this particular zip folder, and then there are these two files. So what I have done, I have initialized a Git repository, and then I have just used. So I have done it two times. One is using diff command, and another is using git diff command. So I will just show both those ways. (2301).
Sir, I have a question. I think it's been asked before, but sir, I'm trying to look at my GA1. I had submitted like 3 4 days back. Now I see it's empty, showing 0 on 10.
Hmm. Can you share your screen?
Ah, sir, sorry, sir. I see that different timestamps are there. Uh, Sorry, sir. My bad. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. So if I just create a file, let's call it some file, and then if I write some piece of code, for example, if it have jivraj over here, and then Saransh. And now let me create some other file. Let's call it 2, and then it have Chivraj as the first line, which is same as this one. And on second line, if it have Carlton. And now if I just use diff command over here, diff, and then I need to put the uh, name of both those files. So I use diff2, and then this is some file. So it shows us the difference between those two files. So on the second line, this is the difference between it. And another way of doing it is I just initialize a git repo. So I do git init, and then I will just check the status of those two files. And now let us see if I just add second file, and now I will commit the second file. So now this first file, I haven't added it, so it is still in untracked position. So this some file is not being tracked by Git as of now, but the other file, that is 2, it's been tracked. So now what I will do, I will uh, change the name of this file as 2. So what I will do, I will use some file and I will just rename it to 2. Now I only have one particular file, and now if I just look for a status, it says this file have been modified. Now if I just commit this file, I think before committing I will have to add git commit -m, and this file have been added here. And now if I look for git diff, and then before that, what I will need to compare the difference between those two commits. So is it list or lists? Hmm. So now I have forgot how do I list those two files. How to list all the commits that I made. Mm, okay. List all the replace with your name. I think this is the one.
Jivraj, we can also do that. We can just show this, all this like comparing in the GitHub as well.
Yeah, I will first do it using Git itself, and then we
All
can
right,
even
all right.
show it.
So what is the first thing you did before the git one?
I just used the diff command that
Oh,
comes with bash.
okay, okay, okay.
So now I will compare these two commits, and all those changes gets listed in the red and green. So this is it compares the first commit with the second commit, and then the first line remains same, whereas the second line changes from the Sharans gets removed and Carlton gets added. So this is change between those two commits. So now I will create the same file again, and let me call it. I will just copy the same content from here. Actually, I don't have to do this. What I will do, I will just go to GitHub. I will create the empty repo here, and it can be any name. It can be public. And now I will add a file to it. There used to be a button to add file. Okay, this is the one. Let me call it 2, and this is the content of the file. Now I will just commit the changes. So this was the first commit. That's why there is no history to compare. Now what I will do, I will just open this file and I will edit this particular file itself, and I will copy this content from here to here, or maybe I will just change this. So now what I have done, I have made another commit, and I will go here, and we can go here, and then here we can visually compare what was the difference between these two files. So this was content of first file and this is content of second file. If both of them are same, then it doesn't highlight. If they are different, then it would highlight. Hello.
Yeah, Javraj.
Yeah, that is it.
All
Now
right,
you can
so
take.
I will take over now. All right, guys. So is my screen visible? All right, so it is visible. So firstly, we'll be looking at these last two questions, which this 16th question and the 18th question, and then we'll be jumping to Flask. Okay. So the 16th question basically says that you have been given, you have been given multiple files. So you have an entire directory, which have more directories. So directory is nothing but folders. Okay, so you have folders, then you have folders within folders, and then you have folders within those folders as well. Okay, so and like files are stored in all these multiple subfolders, and what you have to do is you have to change the names of all those files according to like this. So if the name of a file is let's say A1B9C, then it should become A2B0C. Okay, so you have to increment the numbers by one. Okay, so what we will do over here is that we will apply a combination of bash command and Python. Okay, so what I'm going to do is first and foremost, obviously I won't be downloading this zip file and then showing you the contents in this particular file, because obviously I won't give you the answers for those questions. Okay, so what I will do is let me create okay, I will go over here and all right, so let's create a new folder. Okay, and in this folder I will try to show, I will just create more subdirectories in this folder, and then I will try to show you guys how you can actually extract those files from this particular folder. Okay, so let's name it master folder. Okay, and let's make few more directories. I will name it slave, let's say slave one, because that one was master. Slave two. Okay, so you have uh, I will create some files as well. So let's say slave to txt. Okay, I will also create one more file, slave3.txt, and I will create one file in slave1 as well. Okay, we'll name it slave1. Okay, so I won't be entering any content in these files because obviously we are not dealing with the content, we are dealing with the names of these files. Okay, so in total we have three files, slave 1, 2 and 3. Okay, and those files are being stored in subfolders within this within this master folder. Okay, so what I will do is, first and foremost, I have created another folder which is by the name of all files. So I will extract all those files from this master folder and then copy them or move them to this all files folder. Okay, so for that I simply, asked ChatGPT, not ChatGPT. Actually, I asked Gemini because our friend ChatGPT is down due to some reason. Okay, so what I did was I simply asked Gemini to help me to give me a script which will transfer all these files to that particular folder, to the all files folder. Okay, and that particular command was this file type and all and all. Okay, so this was this file, and what I will do is, first and foremost, I will cd, or should I not? Let's go ahead. Okay, so I will simply, so I will be explaining what this command actually does in a bit, in a while. I will just simply run this. Okay, let's run this file, and you can see that those files have been transferred to this folder. Okay, so actually I had a git instance in this folder as well. That's why it just, copied all the git files from the hidden folder to this particular folder. Okay, and it also transferred the week one dot into Python notebook as well. Okay, so that was not intended, but let's go ahead. Okay, so as you can see that the master folder have those subdirectories, but those subdirectories are just completely empty at this point of time. Okay, and all these three files have been stored in the all files folder. Okay, so what does this command actually does? Okay, let me just copy this and I will paste it over here, and now I will show you what it actually does. Okay, can you see this find? So this is a find operation, this is a find command. This will actually search within this. Okay, so this is actually uh, the path of this particular folder. Okay, so dot and slash is actually denoted, is an actually denote to the current folder we are in. Okay, so it will find the type of files. Okay, so type and then f. What does this f mean? It means files. Okay, so if I replace it with a d, it will be searching for directories. Okay, so this is how this command actually works. Then what it does is it will find in this particular directory the type of files. Okay, so it will search only files, not directories, not any other thing. It will just search for files. Okay, that's why none of the directories or subdirectories were copied to that particular folder. Okay, uh, are these shell commands or bash commands? These are bash commands. Okay,
Saransh, could you also just zoom your screen a little bit because the visibility is a little poor?
I was trying actually, but it's not zooming in.
Do control plus plus
Does that work over there
or
as well?
command plus plus. Okay, control.
Okay, okay, okay. It's working. All right.
Yeah,
I thought it works only on websites. All right.
it works everywhere.
So this is the find command, and it will search within this current directory the type of files. Okay. This F stands for files. Okay. Then what it will does is, so this is the first segment of this particular command. What it will do next is it will execute something. Okay, so this the hyphen exec means executing. So okay, so this will execute this command on all the files which it actually finds. Okay, So it will move those files from that folders to this folder. Okay, so this is how it actually works. So this, I guess, these brackets are for the files it actually finds. So it's like a placeholder over here. And let's say it just found out, okay, so there is a slave2 file in this
It's like
slave2
find
folder.
everything current directory of type file and then exe. What does that mean?
Can you please repeat?
Dot exec.
This hyphen exec, na?
Uh, hyphen exe.
This That's what I'm telling. So firstly it will find all those files, then it will execute a certain command. Okay, so this is executing a command on each and every file it finds. Okay, and what is that command? The command is this one. Okay, so it's executing this move command to on every file it finds. Okay, so these brackets, these curly brackets are there for they're like the placeholders. Okay, so they're like, so if I'm not wrong, they are acting like placeholders. So whenever it will find a file in these folders, it will replace the file's name with this. It will replace these curly brackets with the file name, and then it will move them to this particular directory. Okay, so this is how this command works, and it just transported all those files. Now, what remains to do is open Python. Okay, so Python is already opened. What I will do is I will open this and I will zoom it out. Okay, so this is our Python, and now that all those files have been transferred to this all files folder, we will run a Python script over it. Okay, so this is the Python script. Let's see what this Python script actually tells us. Okay, also we have to import OS for this. Okay, so OS is actually a pre-installed library, which whenever you install Python, it will be pre-installed with it. Okay, so OS will be you can import OS directly without installing anything separately. All right, so what this particular chunk of code does, it's being sliced off. Okay, all right, let's see. Let's get one. All right, so let's remove this one. Okay, so what does this particular chunk of code does? So let's magnify. Okay, so here we are actually going to replace, so because we have to replace only the numbers which are present in the names. So we will actually make a translation. Okay, so we will be making a translator kind of thing. Okay, so this str class actually have a make translation function, which will actually replace whenever this function actually finds an instance of, let's say it finds 0 present somewhere. Okay, so it will replace it with 1. Okay, whenever it finds 6, it will replace it with 7. So that's how it actually works. So it's like translating something. Okay, so whenever it will find 0, it will replace it by 1. Whenever it will find 9, it will replace it by 0. So this is like, it's like translating stuff. All right, so what I did next was simply, okay, we have to change the name. The name of the folder is all files, and it should be right here. Okay, so this is the name of our folder, and what it will do is okay, so firstly we have located, so this os.listdr, what it actually does is it will list all those files which are present in the all files directory. So let's first of all, let's just run this. Let's see if we are getting the desired results. So absolutely we are getting the desired results. We can see that all those files have been like, we can see the slave2, slave1, slave3 over here. Okay, so this os.listdir lists all those files which are, lists everything which is present in this folder. Okay, so what we will do next is, there
It's
is
a character
another
map.
method. Yeah,
Translation table is like a character mapping, right? Like
kind of,
zero, zero is one, one is two, and something like
kind of exactly. Okay, so this os class, so this os module actually have another method by the name of rename. Okay, So this is how we will be renaming stuff. Okay, so what we are going to do is okay, change these changes as well. Okay, so what it will do is it will take two arguments. First one would be the file you want to, the name of the file you want to change. Okay, and then the name of the file you want to keep. So old name and then the new name. Okay, so this is how this particular function works. So firstly we will list the actual name of this folder, the actual name of the file, and then we will apply the translation function. Okay, so it's like creating a translation table, just like Ritvik just said, and it will create this translation. We will just translate this name, these all these names of the files, and we will save them. Okay, so we will actually rename them. Okay, so this is how this function will work. Let's execute this and check if our code was right. Okay, let's check. And yeah, we have got the desired result. So slave 1 has become slave 2, slave 2 has become slave 3, and slave 4 has become slave 3 has become slave 4. Okay, also the week1.ipynb file has become week 2 now. Okay, so it just changed everything. Okay, so this is how this
File
particular
renamed
folder will
itself as
work.
well.
What Ritvik?
Whether the Python notebook renamed itself as well.
Can you?
Absolutely. So
Hello.
that's why it's showing that this file doesn't exist at the moment.
Can you elaborate more on OS thing?
So this OS is nothing like, so you must have used libraries like a very generic library which I can think of. Um, so I will just ask you: have you used any libraries in Python? Any library which you might have used?
NumPy, these things.
All right. So NumPy is a
Yeah.
library in Python, and OS is another library in Python. Okay, so there is not much of a difference. Those two are just libraries, and
So what?
OS
What?
actually allows you to make some changes within your what should I say, the it allows you to make some changes and manipulate stuff with your files and folders. Okay, so let's say if I wanted to transfer all those files from those subfolders into this all files folders, that could have been done using os as well. Okay, but that would have required quite a bit of code, so that's why I just resorted to using system commands. And yeah, so OS actually just allows you to make some changes. It can also create new files, it can create new directories, it can open directories, it can just like we did right now, it can rename stuff as well. Okay, so it's limited to the directories and file stuff. Okay, so this is how OS actually works. All right, so any questions on this question, on this particular question?
Sir, can we do this thing from bash command?
You can do this from bash commands, but I guess that would require you to use awk script, and using awk is bit tricky, I would say, because like you have to create a new file, then you have to write the awk script. So awk script is uh, like running a for loop. So you will have to create an awk script which will run a for loop on each and every file, and then do some stuff. So that would be like a bit painful. That's why I avoided it. And also because I don't have quite a strong grip on awk command, so I just skipped that part.
Okay, sir.
Otherwise, if you are like you are comfortable with awk script, you
Using
can absolutely
uh,
go ahead with that.
yeah, we can using grep. We could probably do it. Like I think.
I guess grep only allows you to filter out stuff. It will allow you to find patterns in your file, but it won't allow you to, like, it can give you stuff like uh, if you want to change stuff, it can do that, but it won't make it permanent, because uh, here you have to find the shasam or something, I guess, uh, of all these files, the change name of files. So I guess that won't be of much help. Otherwise you can just try it, and if you are able to do it, then that's good
Hmm.
for you. All right, so let's move ahead if there are no further questions. Okay, because we have quite a bit of ground to cover today. All right, let's go to SQLite. So, when some person of not much technical background will see this particular question, they might get a bit frightened because at the end of the race, they will see that you just have to write a simple SQL command. Okay, so you don't have to make use of Python or any other thing. You just have to write a simple SQL command. So uh, I know how to use Python with SQL, but when I saw this question, I thought, okay, I have to now recall everything. I have to recall SQLite and uh, probably PostgreSQL and all those stuff. But when I just saw this question, it was just a simple SQL command which you have to write. So, uh, if you guys are, how many of you are, you know, uh, how many of you have some knowledge about SQL? Because this SQL command is going to be like really basic one. So if anyone have any knowledge about SQL, can you just raise your hand? So I would know what we have to do. Okay. So about 5 people have knowledge about SQL, I guess. Okay. So okay. So we have 6 people. Okay. So they're just one. Okay. We have 5 people who know about SQL. So uh, I would say that rather than explaining how SQL command will work over here, I would encourage you guys to go ahead and like try to find it yourself. I can give you like a bit of introduction about SQL if you
So
guys want that.
will knowing only 6 commands, which are the extraction commands, will that suffice things, or do we need to write make or insert table commands as well, like know all
Absolutely.
those things?
I completed this question with just one command. So it's bit tricky because you might think that you have to use like
No,
time
no.
is equal to
Like
that.
my hello.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, what I'm asking is, will knowing only 6 commands will suffice completing this course?
6 commands with 6 commands. Can you please
Like
repeat?
select from group by in these things.
That I'm not sure about because,
Do we need to create the
well, I would
database as
say
well?
that you won't need any other commands because, in TDS, what we do is we will actually use SQL. We will just have an SQL, uh, you will get an SQL database and then you will import it to Python.
Got it.
So,
Got it.
yeah, so you won't be using much of these SQL commands at the moment. So, I guess no, only these
Okay.
six commands would suffice. And if these 6 commands are not enough, like if you have to enter a SQL command like this, then you can always make use of ChatGPT. Okay, and that would work. Okay. Otherwise, most of the stuff we are going to do in TTS would be related to Python and Panda. So just import a data frame into Python, and then you can do the stuff you want to do. Okay. Any other
So,
questions on this? Yeah.
Anand Murthy, just to answer your question with regards to SQL, so we only introduce it in the terms of making students aware that there is such a thing like SQL, because if you're only doing the tools in data science, sorry, if you're only doing the diploma in data science, no, is that right? Yeah, diploma in data science track, some students may not be aware that there is such a thing as SQL and what databases are, because there is no DBMS in the data science track. But it is, it is of course extensively used outside in the real world. So at least being able to construct basic queries would be useful to learn. There is a good resource called SQL Zoo. What I
No,
typically
actually, Carlton, the thing is like I was using SQL like in my early days, but now like things have moved to completely a new Bob J kind of thing.
Sure, yeah, yeah, that
So I haven't been too much in touch. So what I was requiring is requiring these like all the things right from the starting, insert table, creating a table, then
No,
indexing those things will be required, or just
no,
simply
no.
knowing these six things
No,
which
not at
we
all.
need to extract the query will suffice. So
Yeah, so yeah, no insertion. We are not doing a full-blown DBMS course. So it's
okay,
only
okay, okay.
on the basis of extracting information. So only from that viewpoint we would be using it. One place where it will come handy, and it might come, I think it's later in the course. There is this new or newish, I should say, database system called DuckDB. Okay, and one of the things that's pretty remarkable about it is how incredibly useful it is for data analytics compared to a normal database system. I mean, it can do some. I mean, when you do some benchmarks on it, you'll just be astounded how fast DuckDB is. Part of the reason is because DuckDB does not really follow ACID principles, but then again, it's not meant to run databases, but rather it's used for data analytics. So knowing some SQL will actually help in that particular situation. So that's why we want students to at least be aware that, hey, there's a language called SQL, and you can uh, do some queries that can get you some useful information in a fairly short order. And when you're using something like DuckDB, I understand that there are nowadays you use database objects, or rather you use libraries that have objects and things of that nature. But sometimes there is value in at least knowing a little bit of the underlying technology, because you can execute a query or to obtain some valuable results very quickly. So that's the only reason behind introducing it. But we will not expect, like you said, insertions, creations of tables, these sorts of things. We will not. You're not going to be managing a database. Just from an extraction point of view, the basic tools that you might need for it. So there's a resource called SQL Zoo. There's some introductory tutorials in there. I advise most students to actually go through that. And from an end-term point of view, there is generally maybe at least one SQL questions, but it'll be a simple type of SQL question. It won't, one or two questions might be there. So just something that you should be aware of rather than being an expert at.
Got it, got it, got it. Thanks,
All
Scott.
right. All right. So I'll be explaining a little bit about SQL because majority of us don't know about it. So SQL is just like a. So what does SQL actually stands for? It stands for Structured Query Language. Okay. So you have these things called databases. So databases is a place where you just store everything, where you store tabular data in. Okay. So now when it comes to like extracting data from that particular database, you will do it using SQL. Okay. So usually it's done by SQL, and it can be done by Python as well if you have the database, and you can just import it using uh, pandas as well, but mostly it's done using SQL because it's quite fast. That's why it's done using SQL. Okay. So I will be explaining this little query which I just wrote over here. So if you can read this particular query, you will think that it sounds like something kind of English. Okay. It will sound to you like English. We are okay.
Hmm.
So let me just read this query to you. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm going to select. So this star basically means all. Okay. So I'm going to select all from students where the name is Jivraj. Okay. So does that make sense? So let's
Select
say
all
I
from student table where name is Jivraj.
yeah, kind exactly what Ritvik said. So let's say in this meeting we have 19 people with us. Okay, actually 18 people with us. One of the person it's counting is the me sharing the screen. So we have 18 people with us in this meeting. So what I'm going to do is okay. So I'm not going to do is so what I'm going to what you can actually visualize is that uh, I have a database where I have like where I have the names of these 18 students. Okay, so from these 18 students, I want to find Jivraj. Okay, so how that can be done? That that can be done like this. So that would be done in this particular manner. Okay, so we will be selecting everything from students. So the students is nothing but a place where I just stored all these names. Okay, all these 18 names. So select star from student where the name is equal to Jivraj. So it's like it's exactly like how you would say in English. So I want to get everything from student where the name is Jivraj. So this is how actually SQL syntax is. It's quite easy to understand if you kind of relate it to English. Okay, so just utilize the resources which Carlton has provided to you, and you will be good to go. All right. So any questions regarding this particular question, or should we move ahead with the uh, Flask? Also, for a hint, because a few people would be stuck over here, because I was also stuck over here. Uh, I would give a hint that maybe what you are actually doing is won't work. Okay, so whatever you are going to do, whatever you are doing right now, if it is not working, you just have to scroll up a bit and look into this particular section. Okay, so you should just read these commands sort of, and you will be able to figure it out. Okay, so let's go ahead with Flask right now. Okay, so the thing with Flask is that actually Flask, like in the last live session we covered Vercel, we covered deployment using Vercel. But the thing with Flask is that uh, Flask allows you to, like, Flask is a Python framework, and it will give you more freedom to set up more things. So like you can use databases, you can use REST APIs with Flask. Okay, so those things, so what we are going to actually do over here is that we will be creating a Flask application which will provide some endpoints to us, some API endpoints to us, and then we will be deploying that particular application to Vercel. Okay, so the uh, the agenda of this Flask application is what it's going to be. I will just tell you guys. So we are going to create an application which will which will whenever a person will give them their date of birth, it will return which group of let's which group of people you belong to. For instance, for instance, those people who were born around 2000s are called millennials, I guess. And I was born in 2023, so I guess I would be counted as Gen Z. Okay, so we are going to develop this application where whenever a person just gives their own date a their year of birth, they will be returned, they will get a response back from the application which will contain their uh, the group of people they belong to. So I guess that's is there a better word for group of people? Because uh, like millennials are Gen Z, so is there a better word for them which I can use? Anyone? Collections. All right. So okay, so I guess collection is not the word, but we can use collection if you guys want. Okay, so firstly we'll be creating this Flask application. So let's create a new file, and let's name it just like he said, collections. Okay, collections.py. Let's name it this. uh, mostly these files should be named like main or app, because if you are building a project, so you should name your files accordingly. So one of so a few generic names of Flask applications are like app or main. Okay, so I'm just giving you a tutorial, that's why I just kept the name of collections. Okay, all right. So firstly, our first step would be establishing a Git repository. Okay, so command plus plus, please. All right, I will do that. Okay, so let's minimize this. And now the first step which we are going to follow is, firstly we'll be setting up a Git repository, okay, and then connecting it to our GitHub, okay, and then we'll be like, when like if we are going, then when while developing this application, we will be continuously pushing that code to GitHub, okay, and then after completing the application, we will be connecting it to Vercel. All right, so let's get started. So firstly, let's set up the GitHub configuration. Okay, so for GitHub, I should open bash script, git bash. All right, so it's opening on. So this is the git bash, and if you guys don't know about Git and how you can actually set up Git, uh, you might want to pay attention at this particular moment. Okay. So the first command which actually works in initializing a Git repository, a Git instance in your device, is git init. Okay, so simply execute this, and it will initialize a Git instance in this folder. Okay, so as you can see that this is the Git instance in my folder, in this Flask tutorial folder. Okay, so if you guys are not able to see this after executing this git init command, then the reason is that you should go to view and then show, and then you have to check on hidden items. Okay, so this git instance is actually an hidden hidden folder. That's why if you haven't checked this hidden items option, then it won't show you. Okay, so if I just uncheck this, you won't be able to see this. Okay, it's simple as that. Simply check this hidden items option, and then you can see this particular folder. Okay, let's head back. And now what we are going to do is, let's now that we have done that, I will add everything. I will let's check the status of our git instance. It's showing me that this particular file is not tracked at the moment. So whenever it is so whenever it is in red, it shows that it means that this particular file is not being tracked by Git. But how you can actually track it using Git, simply execute this command, which is git add dot. Okay, so if you will run this command, and now if I do git status, now can you see this? This red color has been changed to green, and it's actually now tracking this particular file. Okay, also the color change is being reflected over here as well. Okay, so now that this is done, what we can do is, let's head back to Google and let's open GitHub. Okay, so in GitHub, I will create a new repo. So this is how, if you don't know about GitHub and how to create a new repository, pay attention. Okay, let's name it collections application. Okay, collections app, and let's create this repository, and I will be keeping it public. Okay, now whenever you create a new repository, you will get this kind of interface. Okay, what you have to do is simply copy this second last command from here. Okay, so you have to copy the second last command. So just copy this and paste it over here. Okay, by the way, all these things of setting up Git has been covered in our previous sessions as well. So okay, so all these things have been covered in a previous live session. So if you are unable to understand, you can just simply go back and go to those live sessions, and you can check them out as well. Okay, okay, so I should close WhatsApp. There is no option. Okay, so so what does this particular command does? It will actually establish a new connection from your device to your GitHub account. Okay, so this particular command will actually it will set up a new connection from a device to a GitHub. Okay, so that's the whole purpose of this command. All right, so this is the entirety of thing that we have to do in bash script at the moment. Okay, so when you have just established the connection, that the use of bash script has is like It's over. And what we will do now is that we will head to the source control tab. So this is the source control tab, which actually in VS Code, which actually allows you to manage your GitHub instance. Okay, so usually what people do is that they will execute more commands to run commits, or pushing their code to GitHub. But what we will do is that we will use VS Code. Okay, so VS Code, this is a inbuilt functionality in VS Code. It allows you to uh, you know uh, uh, manage this GitHub instance. And this is how it will so let me just show you how it will work. Let's give it a new message. Always remember this: you have to give a new message every time you are going to make a new commit in this. Okay, so I will give it a new message. Let's say first commit. Okay, so this is our first commit. And rather than clicking on this commit button, I will go to this arrow, and then I will click on commit and push. Okay, click over here, click OK, and this committing. All right, let's head back to our GitHub, and if you will refresh it right now, you can see this particular file. Okay, so this file is present in this folder, and you can see that your okay, so we haven't written any code, that's why it's showing us this empty file. Okay, so our connection has been successfully established with GitHub, and all we have to do is whenever we make some changes, we have to commit and push. All right, so is everything clear till this point? Do you guys have any question regarding this, or should we get started with Flask right now? All right, I guess every one is clear. All right, so let's start with Flask. Okay, so for Flask, also we have to do one more thing. Actually, we have to create a virtual environment as well. So what does a virtual environment mean? Okay, so uh, virtual environment, as the name suggests, it actually creates a new environment for your project. Okay, so if you're not able to understand, uh, let's understand it with this analogy. Let's say I have a swimming pool. Okay, and I have there is a, let's say, a 1-year-old kid who wants to swim in that swimming pool. Okay, so what I will do is I will I will create a separate section from that swimming pool. I will create a separate section in that swimming pool for the kid. Okay, so the depth of that pool, the depth of that particular section would be less as compared to my pool. Okay, so this is what a virtual environment actually means, does for you. Okay, it will it will create an entirely separate environment for you for this particular project, and it will then you can install new and you can install your uh, libraries, for instance Flask, Pandas, and all these kinds of libraries. You can install them separately. It will allow you, it will no, you might ask that what's the reason behind a virtual environment. So it will, first of all, as I just said, that it will allow you to create a special space. You can install new libraries and packages without disrupting your global packages. Okay, so this is what the a virtual environment is basically used for. Okay, so let's see how you can create a virtual environment. And uh, it would be better if you guys kind of note down these commands which I'm going to write. Okay, so for creating a new virtual environment, it's pretty simple. Simply write Python, then dash m. Then what you have to do is you have to write venv. Okay, so venv stands for virtual environment. Okay, then you have to give the name of your virtual environment. Okay, so I'm going to name this env. Okay, so you can name it anything. Okay, let's say I want to name my virtual environment cat. It will work. Okay, you can name your virtual environment cat, but I usually name it env. Okay, why not? So simply uh, using this command, you can create a new virtual environment: Python dash m venv, and then the name of your env. You can name this env anything you want. Okay, simply execute this, and can you see this? this this command actually created a new file right here, a new folder right here. So this is our new virtual environment, and it contains all those libraries that we can install all those libraries, and it will be, it will be right here. Okay, this is like a fresh machine, so this is like a separate machine from your entire device, which it has allocated to us. All right. So now the thing is that now that you have created your own virtual environment, you can't actually, you have to activate it. All right. So if I like, let me just activate it once, then you will be able to see the difference. Okay. So for activation, what you have to do is env, then script, then scripts. Okay, scripts, then activate.ps1. Okay, so this is the command to activate your virtual environment. All right, so let's execute this command, and can you see this? So now our PowerShell would be working with the virtual environment rather than the entire machine. Okay, so this is how it's going to work right now. All right, so let's install few packages. So anyone have any doubts regarding this virtual env? Any doubts? Any questions? I guess not. All right, let's proceed.
You did it in PowerShell only, right? You can do it in Bash
Yeah,
as well. Or
no, I can just simply close this bash script. I did it in PowerShell.
okay.
Yeah, I guess bash won't be able to do this stuff, I guess.
Also, wouldn't you have to add it to git ignore the virtual environment?
Yeah, we have to add it to git ignore as well. Uh, we Okay, let's, thank you for that point, Ritvik. I just forgot about that. Okay, I will create a git ignore as well. Okay,
Hmm.
so at the moment, let's install few packages. Okay, so just like you install packages in your Python, I will be installing those packages. Pip install Flask. Okay, so this is running and it has installed Flask. So uh, I would tell you that Flask was actually installed on my device globally, but it installed it once again because we have created a new environment. We are working in a new environment. That's why it installed it once again. Okay, and you can see Flask right here. Okay, so it has installed bunch of new libraries as well. So you can see Flask installed right here. Okay, in this libs folder. All right, so we have installed Flask, and let's get to it. All right, so just like Ritvik just said, we have to create a git ignore file. So what does a git ignore mean? Let me just create it once, then I will show you. So this git ignore file, as the name suggests, it will ignore it will ignore the directories or the files which are mentioned in this particular file. Okay, so if I do this, and then I use GitHub to make some changes, to push some stuff, it won't do it. Okay, it will just ignore this particular folder to push to GitHub. Okay, so this is a usual practice in development, that we always ignore, that we always put this env folder in our ignore, git ignore, because this env folder, there is no use for this env folder to be pushed to GitHub as well. Okay, so it just contains your libraries and stuff, so there is no actually use to push this to GitHub as well. All right, so this is how git ignore actually works. So this is, you can just simply create it using dot and then git ignore, and then simply add this file, uh, the path to the folder that you want to ignore. Okay, so let's head back to collections.py, and now I will import, we importing Flask. Okay, so I have to do from Flask import Flask. I will also be importing request. Okay, so let's head back. Okay, so this is how you are going to import Flask, and then let's write few lines of code. So this is a like a boiler template of Flask, which you always have to write in order to make your Flask application work. Okay, so let's write these stuff, and yeah, it's helping me out. Okay, bug equals to true. All right. So what I have done over here is that, so this is like a boiler template of Flask. So whenever you actually have to create your Flask application, this particular code should always be there. Okay, so actually this can be ignored. uh, this particular thing can this particular chunk of code can be manipulated or ignored as well, but these 3 lines or 4 lines should always be there in your Flask project. Okay, so uh all right, so this is how, so I won't be going into the depths of what each and every line is doing. So first of all, this is just basic importing. And then it comes to this app, this just creates a new Flask instance. All right, no need to pay attention to this. Then we have this, it will actually keep running our application, and it will keep debugging our application as well. Okay, so you need not pay any attention to this. All we have to, or you have to actually pay some attention is over here. Okay, so let's run our Flask application. Okay, so how you can run it? Simple Python, and then the name of your Python script. Okay, and then you will see some stuff it's printing out, and here you will see running on this port. Okay, simply click over here, and it will take you to this page. Okay, so this Flask application is actually running on your device, so it hasn't been deployed yet. That's why no one will be, if you just copy this particular URL and paste it in your device, you won't be able to open it. Okay, so this is a local host. It's running locally on this machine, it's not deployed anywhere. That's why you can't open this particular URL. Okay.
So, Sharansh, I think this
Yeah.
is good time you show how you can tunnel it to ngrok and forward request to your local system.
uh Using ngrok,
Yeah.
let's
So
do one thing.
I can
uh
guide you through the process. It would just take 5 minutes. Since
uh
this application is already running, we can get a URL that can be used by anyone on web.
I would say that let's not include ngrok right now. uh the part of the reason is that I'm not much confident with ngrok
No,
myself,
no, no, no,
and
no.
I would
I
like
will
you
guide
to
you through the
actually
process.
go ahead with that.
It will just take 5 minutes.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
just open a new tab.
all right.
Okay. Search for ngrok authentication.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Just go to docs and over here, just go to quick start. Get started with ngrok. And here there is these commands you can use for installation.
Okay, in this Windows tab, na?
You are using Windows right now, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah, just use Windows.
In PowerShell, right?
Yes.
All right. Okay.
So in
Yes.
VM, ngrok was installed in the virtual environment, right?
No,
Okay, it was
ngrok is
installed in virtual
basically a
environment.
command line tool which allows you to. Uh, so what it does, if there is some request that comes to the ngrok server, then it will just forward that request to the local host where you are running. So it is just a way of redirecting requests to some other server. So it doesn't install in env or something.
No, but like he like Saransh is in the virtual environment right now, right?
Yeah, but so this virtual environment is for Python. So whatever packages you install for Python, uses it for that purpose. But ngrok is a command line tool. The purpose of ngrok is to forward some requests to
And
your
Grok
local.
not installed, right? And you have to probably use another PowerShell window for installing Grok.
Okay, so like we have to install ngrok on the entire machine.
That probably Jivraj will guide.
I think this issue might be because of some permissions, some write permissions or something.
Because VM will not have the system level permissions to connect to internet, right, or something.
But right now he's using PowerShell.
Now he is using PowerShell. Before he was using VM.
Yes.
Oh, is it?
No,
I
it's
I
not
think
working.
this is some access denied thing.
Yeah.
You have to probably use an elevated PowerShell, right? Maybe open terminal as admin. No, no,
Yeah, maybe use administrative
yeah,
permissions.
not from here, from that terminal, but run as administrator. Hey, why do we need to run as administrator though? Jivraj, what does ngrok do? Like, somebody is mentioning.
So basically, what ngrok will do, if you have created an application locally, and now let us say you want to make it visible to users over internet, so you can tunnel it to ngrok. So your a server will still be running on your local machine, but you can actually you can actually
Hmm.
uh, get a ngrok URL. And actually what happens,
Yeah.
whenever someone tries to access that URL, then it will send request to ngrok, but then it will get forwarded to your local machine, so anyone on internet can use your application.
Okay. That's like as a computer can work as a server.
Yes, your computer will work as a server.
That is really cool.
Okay.
And
Sharan,
that is probably why they are asking for elevated shell.
Yeah, I guess that works because there is a functionality in Vue.js as well. So if you are using Vue.js, it will give you two URLs to open. One is your local machine URL, and another one is your network URL. So it will it will give access to like you can use anyone can use that open that particular link using your IP address. So I guess that's how it's going to work over here as well.
this doesn't expose your IP address. That is the difference between it.
Okay.
It will just generate a random URL. I think now it is installing.
Okay, it has installed it.
Yeah.
All right, what next to do?
Okay. Go back to the uh, browser.
Okay, browser.
Yeah. Scroll a bit down to step 2. So
Mhm.
there you would have to sign up to ngrok account, so that there is a link for it. Just go back to, yeah. Here, sign up for an ngrok account.
All right.
Okay. So now you see that in the sidebar you have that option of under getting started. You have, yeah, just copy that.
Mhm. By the way, if like we are sharing, I'm sharing my screen, so
You can just unshare your screen and do the authentication and then share it again.
okay, so it has saved the authentication to a file, a YAML file. Right. So I guess this is the URL.
Hmm. Okay, try it out.
Okay, it's not opening.
Okay, what did you use, by the way?
I
How
just
did you
created.
start?
I just a second. Will open in Croc. Okay, I just copied this
Okay,
command.
so make sure that it is running on localhost 8080. Your Python server is running on localhost
Okay,
8080.
okay, okay, okay. Actually, I've stopped the local server. So do I have to
Yes, yes, you
rerun?
will have to start it. You haven't saved your file.
All right, so it's started, and in the ngrok server, I have to run it right here.
So
So
now it have created another URL. So every time you execute it, it will create a different URL.
this one.
Yeah.
All right, that's pretty good.
So now you can
Uh,
give this URL to anyone and they will have access to it.
all right, all right, all right. That's pretty good. And okay, okay. All right. So all right. So that concludes the ngrok part. So let's continue with the Flask, creating the this Flask application. All right. So what I will do is I will run this on my local host for the moment, and then perhaps we can use ngrok to kind of give access to everyone, or we can even like host, like we will be hosting it at the end of the day. We'll host this application on Versa. Okay. So let's head back. Okay, it's running right over here. Okay.
Yeah, hosting on Vercel is probably better because like
Yeah,
you're
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because
at the end of the
uh,
day you're exposing an endpoint on your system, right? So that's
yes, absolutely.
Also, you cannot keep your system running for 24 hours.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So the thing with ngrok is, which Jivraj just uh, explained to us, is that ngrok will only work until your system is working. So if you close that, if you close that terminal which is serving your application through ngrok, only then this will work. Okay, so if you close that, it won't work. But when you are actually deploying it on Vercel or let's say Netlify or any other deployment website, so it will be permanent, so it will stay there. And everyone will, so you need not keep, you should, there is no need for you to keep your device open all the time. Okay. Okay, so this is our application at the moment. So let's create this. Okay, so what I will do is I will be explaining this part to you at the moment. Okay. So what does this app.route do? Okay, so this slash basically means that this is, so slash, let's say if I put a slash over here, so it will redirect me to this particular page as well. Okay, so what does this slash mean? It means that this is the first page which will open whenever someone opens our URL. Okay, whenever someone opens our URL, this is going to be the first page which opens. Okay, so if I create a new endpoint, so these are called endpoints by the way. Okay, so if I create a new endpoint and if I name it, let's say hello, and not hello, let's name it something else. We can name it, okay, TDS. Okay, so we name it TDS, and we can give the message hello TDS. Okay, so now if I type over here slash TDS, it should take me okay, it refused to connect. I guess I have to run the code, right? Okay, view function is overwriting an existing endpoint. All right. So the the error which has occurred is that uh, whenever you so this is the chunk of code which actually acts as an endpoint. Okay, so the syntax is you have to apply this decorator. So these are called decorators by the way, and here you have to mention the URL, the particular URL that you want to direct them to. Okay, and then you have to create a new function. Okay, so we have the index function right here, so let's create a TDS function. Okay, and then, and now it should work as intended. Let's rerun this and let's check. All right, it's working. Let's check it. Okay, and as you can see that we have got our hello TDS right away. Okay, and if I just head back, if I just put a slash over here and now I run it, it will just take me back to the main page. Okay, so putting a slash, so this slash means that this is the main page that our application would be working. So this is the home page. Okay, so this slash means that home page, and then you can create more endpoints. Let's say I will create an endpoint for uh, Saransh. Okay, and it will allow me to, if I enter Saransh over here, it should greet me. Okay, let's check. Okay, let us okay, I have to always remember this. Whenever you are creating more endpoints, you should always change the name of let's say, because I just copied it from right here, always remember to create new functions. Okay, so if you don't create any new function, then it will give you an error, just like it gave me. Okay, so now it should run. Okay, I haven't saved it yet. Okay, I will run it once again using python collection.py, and it will work. Okay, now if I reload it, it's saying hello Sanaj. Okay, and if I go to slash TDS, it will say hello TDS. Okay, so before creating that, Gen Z and millennial kind of application, let's see how you can create an application which greets a person whenever you enter the, whenever you enter something right over here. So let's say if I enter uh, slash Jivraj over here, then it should greet Jivraj as well, but at the moment it won't. Okay, so what we will do is I will create an, so this is an endpoint. What I will do is I will simply write it this way, and let's hope it works. Okay, And okay, let's see. Okay, are you guys able to see this? So what I did over here is that I created a kind of variable. Okay, so I created kind of a variable right in the URL itself. Okay, so this whenever you enclose a variable with these greater than and less than symbols, it will act as a variable, and then you have to uh, put this variable as a parameter in your function, and then you can just use this name anyway. Okay, you can use this name. Let's say if I want to reverse this name, okay, I will will create a new variable, and I will just simply replace this name. Okay, I will just simply reverse this name. Okay, okay, and I will give new name. Okay, so if I run it once again, are you guys able to see this? It just reversed Jivraj's name. Okay, and if I enter Saransh over here, it will reverse my name as well. Okay, so it's greeting us in our reverse. It's greeting our reverse names. Okay, so if I enter TDS, it will give me STT. Okay, so this is how this Flask actually works. So this is how this parameter, these variables actually work. Okay, so let's head back to that Gen Z and millennial thing. Okay, so what we will do is that a person should be able to enter their date, their year of birth. Okay, let's say if I enter my year of birth, which is 2003, and if I enter it right over here, it should return the it should let's say it should say, okay, hello Gen Z. Okay, so if the name, if the year of the year of birth is like, let's say uh, below I guess it's the range of years is like below 2015 to like it's 2000 to 2015. I guess that's the range of Gen Zs which they consider. So I'm actually not into that kind of stuff. So I don't have much information about that. So so let's create something like this. Okay. So uh, I will change this variable to year. Okay, and again this to year, and I will rename this function to let's say mm, hello let's say collections, because we are naming this application collections, hello collection. Okay, so this is the name of our function, and right over here we are actually accessing this year as a variable. Okay, and then we are using this variable, and now I can use this variable function right away. Okay, so let's say I will create let's say we create a new variable collection, and let's keep it empty. So what I will do is, if the year is I will also convert it to an integer. Okay, because whenever you are using these kinds of variables, it will return these variables will actually be in a string. Okay, so if you're working with numerical values, then you should convert them to string. Okay, I will make this like this, and integer of year. All right, so if the year, let's say uh, is greater than 2000, but and it is less than 2015, then the person should be Gen Z. Okay, then the collection should be Gen Z. Okay, and I guess there is a new generation which has come up, which is generation Gen Alpha. I guess they have introduced a new term for uh, children who are born after 2015 uh, till so let's make it, if the year is greater than 2015, it should be Gen Alpha. Okay, if I'm not wrong.
Kind of makes sense because you have already reached Gen Z. What will you do? Start with the Greek alphabets.
Yeah, so I guess they are like going to use Greek alphabets now, Gen Alpha, Gen Beta, Gen Sigma, and all those kinds of things. So I personally find these things a bit stupid, but for the sake of this project,
I'm
because
just
I thought that
marketing
it
fools.
might resonate with with many people, so I just took this example. Okay, so what we will do is the people who are born before 2000 would be categorized as, let's say, so it's giving me some options, uh, but I will categorize them as millennials. I will write any spelling. Millennials. Okay, it was okay. Thanks, Codium. Okay, so I will categorize them as millennials, else everyone will be categorized as an omega, Gen Omega. Okay, so let's remove this particular line. So what I will do is I will return now the collection. Okay, okay, rather than using collection, we should use generation. So yeah, generation should be the better word to use over here. Generation. So that was the word I was actually searching for. So okay, we're using generation. Let's change it. All right, so okay, so let's check if this application will work or not. Let's check what it will give for 2023. Oh, sorry, 2003. Okay, I will run it and it should say hello Gen Z. Okay, because this 2003 falls in the range of 2000 to 2015. Okay, and if I, let's say, I enter the year of, let's say, uh, 200, if we are talking in Roman times, so they will be considered as millennials. Okay, so also any number above, I guess, 2000 mm, 15 would be termed as generation omega. Okay, so we have created this sim basic Flask application, which actually, sends, which actually tells you. So given the year of birth, it actually tells you which kind of generation you fall in. Okay, so okay, so this is done. But the thing is that I want to return a JSON object rather than, saying them, okay, hello this and that, hello that and this. We should return an actual JSON object. Okay, so that's the only way it would be termed as. Okay, this is better. Let's run this. See. All right, so this is giving us a JSON object. So as you can see that I did nothing, but I created a new dictionary. So it just created a new dictionary where um, where I just imported all those values. So it's taking this year value from right over here. So from this variable which we just created, and this generation from this generation variable. Okay, so this is nothing but a simple dictionary which it is actually returning. And you can see that we have created a really simple API. Okay, so these are API. So this is how APIs actually are created. So if I enter, let's say, 2025, you will see that generation alpha year 2025. Okay, so this is how you create an API using Flask. So any questions regarding this, guys? Any questions, or is this completely understood?
Hey, you are defining a port, but when you host it, would that port matter?
Can you repeat?
When you host it on Vercel, would that port matter? And debug equals true.
I don't think so, because when you will host it, then it will give you an entire domain, its own domain. So that won't matter.
Hmm.
And also the thing is that whenever you are deploying it to somewhere, you should always remove this. Okay, you should always remove debug is equal to true and everything which you have written. in this.
Okay.
Okay,
Just do app
you
dot
can
run.
always remove this. Yeah. So debug basically means that it should keep on debugging your code. So whatever you are seeing right over here, whatever you are seeing right here, it is debugging it. Okay, so if I just switched it off, it won't work. Okay, so I guess you won't be able to see everything. You won't be able to see what uh, all this. Okay, so debugging does that, and port is basically the port you want to run your application. Okay, so you can, it can be any number. I just chose 8080 because Javraj told me. Okay, so this is how to create a basic Flask application. Okay, so any questions, or should I give you an assignment right now? Basic assignment.
Mm,
Ask me any question you want regarding this. All right,
so
there are no
technically,
further.
so
Yeah,
if we had that Flask backend we had right in Mat 1 and Mat 2 project as well. Like in Mat
yeah.
1 project, even the front end was like mostly Flask. So like that Mat 2 project backend we can host on Vercel.
You can host on Vercel, but the thing is that Vercel will require you to purchase a VPS,
Okay,
because yeah,
the
because you
database,
are
right?
accessing a database, so it
Okay.
won't allow you to uh, access your database with a free uh, hosting. So you have to
Hmm.
purchase a VPS for that.
Okay.
All right. So I guess that's everything is clear about this. Okay. So I will give you a new assignment regarding this Flask application. So what you have to do is you have to create a new Flask application where uh, whenever someone enters their year of birth and the no, not year of birth, whenever someone enters their month of birth, you have to tell their zodiac sign. Okay, so I was born on in August, so I am a Leo. So you have to do, so whenever someone enters their month, let's say August or September, so you have to return the zodiac sign associated with that. Okay, so this can be a really fun exercise. So you have to return this JSON object, not that hello and all that thing. So the I guess the syntax and the code is going to be exactly the same. So you just have to create that particular application. So yeah, month and date is needed. I guess dates, so I guess there is something like from the middle of a month to the middle of another month to the next middle of the next month. So zodiac signs like lie in that way. So like from 15th of April to 15th of May, there is a zodiac sign, and after that, so like it's like between, so zodiac signs basically lies between months. So I know that a particular zodiac sign is not associated with a particular month, but uh, I'm just like simplifying this exercise for you.
We are just
So
doing the English version of zodiac signs, not the ये तुम्हारी राशि क्या है वो वाला नहीं कर रहे.
absolutely, that's what I'm asking you guys to do. You simply, so you can, so I'm not quite sure about that, but if date is also needed for extracting out the zodiac sign, let's because what I know is that it starts from like there is a separation between like people who are born before 15th of a month are in a different zodiac sign, and people who are born after 15th of a month are in a different zodiac sign. So I may be wrong in this, but like, if this is right, then you can go another step ahead and you can just create. Okay, so it's 20th of a month. All right, so that's how it works. So if you want to go ahead with another step, you can add another variable as well. Okay, so this is a variable for year. You can add another variable. Okay, so it would be something like this: month, and here we have to write the date. Okay, so this is how, if you wish to go ahead with this, you can go. Okay, otherwise, if you want to go the easy, you want to go the easy route, you can simply just stick with the months. Okay, so this is your exercise, and uh, yeah, yeah. So it will help you understand Flask much more better, and like if you can code it up, that's really good. And what we will do right now is that we will deploy this website. This not a website. It's not a website. This is a Flask application. Okay, so we will be deploying this Flask application on Vercel. And if you guys create this application, then that's really good. You can just create a new discourse post. You should deploy this Flask application on Vercel or any other platform, because let me be honest, I usually use Netlify rather than Vercel. So I have experience with Netlify much more than Vercel, so I use Netlify rather than Vercel. So uh, you can deploy it on any platform you of your wish, and then you can just provide link to that link to your project, uh, link to your Flask application in the discourse post. So you can do that. Also, don't forget to ping us. Don't forget to mention us uh, in the discourse post. Only then we will be able to see that what you have done. Okay. So this is our task. This is our minor assignment. So this is nothing like associate. So we are not saying you that you have to do this or else you will lose marks. This is just a basic normal activity which you can do to better understand Flask. All right. So okay. So let's go ahead and push this code. Okay, so we have completed the development of our application. So after completion of your after you have completed your the development of your application, it's good practice to delete these things. Okay, so it will work if you like if you forget removing this particular debug is equal to true, then it will work, but it's best practice to just delete it. Okay, so that's done. And now what I will do is I will simply go to source control, and I will, okay, it's give me a bazillion values. Yes, it's okay. Let's do one thing. Let's commit it to our GitHub. Okay, so I guess this would be my last commit. Okay, I will give this message. So always remember to give a message in your commit, because if you forget to give a message in your commits, then it will like just run for like it will keep on running and running, and you won't be able to get anywhere. Okay, so after this, click over here, commit and push, and it should be good to go. All right, it's happening. Okay. All right. So in the source control, there is one good thing that you can see, that you can actually visualize the Git instance in your device. So like GitHub is like a it's like a tree, and like it has multiple branches. So if multiple people are working together, so and you have this visualization with you, then you can really simply visualize how everything is going around, how a person is committing, and then merging branches with uh, your branch. So it's a really good function of VS Code right here. Okay, so that's done.
Also, there is
Also,
a very good plugin or like extension called Git Graph. You can use that as well.
all right, we can, if anyone wants to go ahead with that, they can use that particular extension as well. Okay. All right, so one last thing is that we have to create two new files, two new basic files. So first one would be a requirements.txt. Okay, so the process is quite simple. So it's you have to run a basic command in PowerShell, which is pip freeze, then requirements.txt. Okay, so this command will create a new file in your folder, which will actually contain all the libraries which you have used in development of this particular project. Okay, so this is actually necessary because Vercel needs this requirements.txt to actually figure it out what kinds of libraries you actually require to run this project. Okay, so simply create this file using pip freeze and then less than sign and then requirements.txt. Okay, that would be done. Next, we have to create a Vercel.json. Vercel.json file. Okay, so this Vercel.json file, basically it will contain the build instructions. So it will tell Vercel how you have to build this particular project. Okay, so let me write. Okay, it should be like this if I'm not wrong. Build, it should work. Okay, all right, just a second. Should work now. Build. Okay, all right, all right. So uh, my document, all right. So this is the content of Vercel.json which you have to include, and it will actually it will instruct Vercel to how to build your application when it receives this when it's going to build the application. Okay, so this build will actually tell. So as you can see that this builds will tell like which file is the actual which file is actually running. So uh, we have to change this to collections. Okay, so it's collection.py. Okay, so the main file you have to enter right over here in the src. Okay, then you have to make some these little changes. Okay, I will also change this. So am I doing it right? Okay, that's right. Okay, so these are the few changes that you have to make. So firstly you have to change this. We have to enter the name of the file that's actually running our Flask application right over here. Then you have to change this from at Vercel node to at Vercel Python, because what is node. So node is basically uh, the engine which runs JavaScript. So if you are working with JavaScript files, then you have to keep it at Vercel node. Otherwise, because we are working with Python, so we have to keep it Python. Okay, then in the destinations, again you have to do, if you have to enter the uh, location of your file. Okay, let's save it, and it's done. Let's make one more commit, and I will name it final commit, because I actually made a last commit thinking that it was the last commit of this entire application. Okay,
This is what happens.
it's
Final,
done.
then final version 2, then final
Yeah,
version 3.
absolutely. Sometimes you end up making like last commit one, like last commit two, last commit three. So that's you know that's a pretty standard uh, thing. All right. So okay, so it has pushed the env as well somehow. uh I guess the git ignore had a
Git
problem with
ignore you
that.
have to do proper. Git ignore
What
dot env you should do.
dot
Or
env, that's what I did actually.
okay,
Okay, let's ignore this. If
do dot env, then like all
Wait,
env.
I guess I should have removed this dot. Yes, then it would have worked.
Yes,
Either you
because
should either
yes.
you should remove the slash or you should put one more dot before the env.
When you have to first remove it from GitHub.
Yeah, I have to remove it from GitHub. And what you were saying, Aditya, I have to add one more dot.
Yeah, either you have to remove slash or you have to add one more dot before env.
Okay. All right. So uh, let's remove this delete directory. Okay. Commit changes. Doesn't go on yet. Once again. Trying to do it's too large. Okay. Commit
When
before
we create the repository on GitHub directly and then we work on it, usually they automatically create that Git ignore.
Can you please repeat?
We like first make a repository on GitHub and then start working on it locally. The Git ignore automatically includes multiple variations for
Okay.
common
Okay.
things which we do not want to include. Like if we select node or the template in which we are working on.
Okay. By the way, what do you guys think? Will this work?
Should
I don't know. Maybe you can check on internet what is the correct way to put folders in gitignore, or ask ChatGPT.
see just try and
ChatGPT is
save
blank
it.
at the moment.
Just try and save it, and automatically the thing will get dim that specific file.
Yeah, you're right. Let's check. It has
It's
not
not dim,
happened.
right? You have to save it. Save
Hmm.
this file. It's not getting dim. It's not there. So probably just change it.
Yeah.
Just write env.
Just env.
Just write env
All
and
right.
save it. Save it. You have to do Control S.
Yeah, I have done that.
Okay, done that.
Mm, I've actually worked. I've actually worked along with these things quite a lot, but for some reason it's not working. Let me just check my projects. There is a git ignore. Okay, so it's env and then slash.
Huh.
Now it should go dim.
Maybe the kind of icon bag you're using is not dimming it.
Hmm, that's possible. Let's make final commit number 2. Commit push. Let's check. Okay, you can push reference. Okay. So it's telling us that hmm, there is a distinction between the Git instance we have in our device and the GitHub. So we have to at first sync these changes. Okay. Then I guess it will delete our env file from here. Okay.
Probably.
Okay,
I
wait,
didn't.
see, as it's not gone yet. Okay, it's there. All right, let's run final commit. Okay, it won't allow us. Let's write a comment. It should allow us. Final commit number 3. And let's hope it works.
Otherwise, you can always do final commit version 4.
Okay, let's check. All right, so it has worked, I guess. Okay, so it has worked successfully. Okay, so because so whenever you are trying to add files which you don't want to commit, which you don't want to push to GitHub, simply do like this. Okay, the name of the file, name of the directory, and then slash after that. Okay, but okay, so now it has dimmed it out. You can see, right? So because
Yes.
it's present over here, if I just remove it and then save it, then it will just lit back. Okay,
Also, just do env now.
just
Just env
env.
without the slash.
Okay, it's working as well.
Wait,
Mhm.
it was probably in being tracked because it already being
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
maybe it was not.
All right, so this has worked. So our project has been, pushed to GitHub. So all that remains is to deploy it on Vercel. Okay, so I will open Vercel. All right, so we will click on Add New and add a new project. Now it will just show which repository you want to use to create the project for. I will click over here, Connections app, and okay, let's click on deploy. Hopefully it should work. Okay, should be object. What's it should be object. Okay, already exists. Okay, what's the problem? Mhm. Okay, let's add a new project. Let's try and import this. All right, the name has been changed. Should work, right? Should be object. What's the problem over here? Okay, it's building. Okay, the environments. Okay, root directory. Dimension flask. Okay, okay. Hmm, it is. Is this the same one? Okay, I miss something. Okay, person of Jason. Right. Everything seems to. Okay, so this is the problem. Okay, okay, okay. So in Vercel.json, there's no need for this list. Okay, now I will save it and again write my final commit. Commit number 4. Okay, commit and push. Let's hope it works this time. Okay, and all right, let's deploy it once again. So obviously it will say that it has been created. Vercel. Okay, I will add a new project. Now it should work. Okay, deploy. All right. Fingers crossed. This should work. All right, so the project has been successfully deployed on Vercel. Uh, this is the domain of our project, and if I enter my year of birth, okay, the server is overloaded.
Just go and check in the logs, maybe.
Hmm.
There is this, yeah.
Mhm.
So just read the message. Uh, line number. It might be issue with some package is not available or something.
But we created a requirements.txt, right?
Yes, yeah, we created, yes. So this is from app.py self. Okay.
Why are we kind of
Okay, it's expecting. All right. So that's my bad.
What was the
Because I
problem?
was so the problem was when I was telling them to create that application for zodiac signs,
Mm-hmm.
zodiac signs, yeah. So I replaced this year with month.
Oh, okay, okay,
That
okay.
was my bad, and it should be year. So let's see if okay. So this should work. So the thing is, let me just give it a final uh, commit. 6, I guess. Okay, it's number 5, and I will
I
push
think
it.
Sharansh, whenever
Yeah,
you commit, I think the application would redeploy.
yeah, absolutely. So that's what I was going to show them. So if you push this once again, so this application would automatically redeploy. Uh, okay, so it should show building once again. Yeah, yeah. So there it was. So it was building our application. Yeah, you can see that it's uh, as soon as I clicked on push, commit and push, it started redeploying our website. It started rebuilding our website once again. And this is the feature of Vercel. You can whenever you so this is what actually it's called CI/CD. So continuous integration and contiguous deployment. Okay, so contiguous integration is when we just pushed our code to GitHub, so that's integrating our code with the already existing code. And continuous deployment is what Vercel just did right now. Okay, so it deployed our website whenever there was a little bit whenever there was a even if there is a little bit change in GitHub, so it will redeploy our website. Okay, so I guess this should work. Now if I enter let's say 2023, all right, so it's working perfectly. It has given me this uh, generation and the year, so it's working perfectly. You can like I will just share this link to you guys, and you can perhaps check your own generation. Okay, so I've shared this link. So that so this is how you can create websites. You can create an application with Flask and deploy it to Vercel. So the assignment is still on. You have to create that zodiac sign assignment. There is no extra marks or something related associated with that, but it's just a fun exercise you can do to enhance your Flask skills. Okay, so that can be done. And if you finish that little project, then you can ping us on our discourse. Okay, just simply deploy your application on Vercel and give us the link. We will check it. Okay, also one more thing, there is people have asked that when will the live session will be record, when will the live session be posted in the on YouTube. So one thing is that you don't have to wait for us to publish this these live sessions on YouTube. You can simply go over here. So this is the calendar, and you guys must have this calendar as well. So you can simply go over here. This you can see this live session. Click on this, and you will see this. You can see the live session recording. Okay, you can simply play this, and I guess it is available to everyone who has this calendar. So after we stop the recording of this particular session, in a few minutes, or I guess an hour later, you will see the recording right over here. So simply click on this live session, and then you can see the transcripts. You can even see the recorded lecture. Okay, so you need not wait for us to upload it on YouTube. You can simply go ahead and watch the recordings. Okay, so that was it for this lecture. So it's, I guess, we have completed n group as well, and we have completed flask, creating applications with flasks. Okay, so uh, surprisingly we have achieved all the agendas we set today. Okay, we have completed GA1, we have completed flask, we have also completed n group. Okay, so any questions regarding this? Any questions, guys? Any suggestions? Any ideas you want to uh, share with us? All right, I guess no one wants to share any ideas. All right, so I guess we can stop recording. You guys can please stop recording.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Ritvik,
Yes,
uh,
Suraj.
yeah. So actually, I would like to tell you that you can even deploy database on Vercel. I deployed it yesterday itself for my software engineering project. That's why I
Okay.
know.
So like
And
MongoDB, etc. we can do, right?
yeah, you can do Mongo. I don't know about Mongo, but I deployed PostgreSQL, and MySQL was also there.
Okay, so
Those two.
SQLite also we can do.
SQLite means SQLite. Oh, SQLite is just a file, right? It's not a
Okay,
database.
okay, okay, okay. So it's better we do Postgres SQL and we can do it.
Yeah,
Wow.
you can even connect it to your MAD1 project and MAD2 project.
Okay, and then we can kind of make a full-fledged application.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So like
Do
I
you have
can
any
deploy my
tutorials or
application on
something for
Vercel
this?
for
We can.
free.
No, wait, I will share my screen. Is my screen visible to you?
No, sir, it's not visible.
Okay. Uh, I think
Yes,
now it
it's
is
visible.
visible.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Now it is.
So is this the tab? I think this is the tab. So what I did, these are all the projects that I have deployed so far. So now if I go to storage section, here is that database that I have created 22 hours ago, and it have got these local environment. These are secrets, so I cannot really show them. These are used to connect
Alright.
to this database. So
We are connecting to a cloud database, right? Like Supabase you're connecting to.
yeah, I'm connecting to Supabase.
Okay.
So whenever I go here I get a lot of different options. So I use this for Postgres one,
Okay, okay.
and
So,
you can even deploy Redis database here, and these
uh,
are different options that are available right now.
upstairs option is also there, and you can do it in the free plan, huh?
Yeah, I did it in free plan, and I think I got. Let me check how much I have got in free plan. So this is what I have got: this much RAM and this
That
much
is more than
bandwidth.
enough,
All right, all right.
like for test apps. This is more than enough. Yes.
Yeah. Even I have just connected it, or I mean, it is connected from a long time.
Hmm.
So I have done that a few things. So so you can even deploy it.
Hmm.